Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast. We will be covering Adventure Comics 71, Starman Ted Knight, and Starman Volume 2, Issue 13 with my man, Jack Knight. So excited. Let's pull up some pertinent data, and we're going to start with Adventure Comics 71 today. Okay, so this fun comic was approximate on sale date was December 31st, 1941. The Japanese have attacked. It's New Year's Eve, 1941, going in 1942, and the world has changed a great deal. So, it's cover dated February 1942. It has a wonderful cover with Starman fighting Egyptians, which really has nothing to do with the story, but it's a nice cover. It's written by Gardner Fox, artist Jack Burnley, editor Murray Boltinoff, the star czar of Earth B. It's a 64-page count comic book. It's 13 pages for this story, which is entitled The Invaders from the Future. Stars, of course, the original Starman, Jack Knight. Doris Lee and Woodley Allen are in it, as always. It is the return of the light. No further appearances. I want someone to pick up create a new Starman title, whether it be Ted, whether it be maybe not Jack, maybe Will Paint me, and have them battle the light. There's a great synopsis. Excuse me, folks. I'm having dental plate issues, and so I have a little bit of a sibilant S today. All right, the synopsis is: using a time machine stolen from Professor Grimm, a man known as the Unknown brings back technology to create electro thunderbolt gun capable of directing lightning bolts. Using the gun, the Unknown destroys factories and munition plants. Starman tracks down the source and destroys the gun, but the Unknown escapes into the future. When the villain returns, he brings future men with him who attack the world. Starman is overcome when his gravity rod runs out of power. He recharges it during an eclipse and takes on the future men. They are vulnerable to the air and easily defeated without their mask. Starman finally captures the Unknown, who is his old nemesis, the Light. So, I actually like this one a whole lot. It was, these are, like I've said, they're very quick and simple 1940s comics. Not big on character depth, not big on anything other than revenge and battling bad guys and doing what's right. This one doesn't have a war theme, like a World War II theme. These would have been written before the attack on Pearl Harbor. But, it's, I like how there's no hint that it's the Light. I mean, I think comic fans back then, unless they were hardcore ones, may not have gotten the previous issue or whatever. But Professor Grimm looks a little bit like Albert Einstein. I take it that's on purpose. I wonder if he's related to Ben Grimm in some alternate universe. But I like how they go into the future. Ted this time is playing golf when he is stricken with a strained back and shoulder and all the other ailments that this Ted Knight, the fake delicate millionaire, to get an excuse to get away from Doris, flies off and meets with her uncle, Woodley Allen. And then he battles the Thunderbolts. And it's kind of cool. He's flying. Some good action sequences by Burnley. I really love Jack Burnley's art. It is so stunning. Basically, the lightning bolt gun looks just like the telescope in what's it called? Place where they look at stars. Oh, God, man, that's horrible. But he battles the bad guys, and then the Unknown gets away. And when he returns, these guys in like 1940s fire retardant suits come out and beat the crap out of Starman. I like how he waits for the eclipse so he can charge his cosmic rod from the stars after the light. Overall, really good, nice one. I enjoyed it. It was a good, entertaining comic from the 1940s. I'm getting very close to the end of Volume 1 of the archives, and I want to say that, which will end the Jack Burnley era. So I have 5 more issues. There'll be 2 or 3 All-Star comics intermixed in there. So sometime in the next 4 or 5 months, we will switch to the next creative team. But that's not now, and it was just I'm enjoying them. I'm gonna see Jack. I'm sad to see Jack Burnley go when we get to the end, but I am gonna I do like Gershwin's art. So let's move on to the next comic in our episode, which will be Starman Volume 2, number 13. All right, this comic was published on September 19th, 1995. It is cover dated November 1995. It is a cover by Tony Harris. This is part of the Underworld crossover-ish. They were very nice to the gentleman, to James Robinson and Tony Harris, of not having it to be a major part of the crossover, but allowing they use it in a good way, and I'll talk about it as we go through it. But it's got a great cover. It's called Sins of the Child, Part 2 of 5, and it's got Ted Knight with one of his Starman ray guns from his early days, and Dr. Phosphorous standing over him. It's a really good cover. This is, as I said, Sins of the Child, Part 2, Ted's Day. And it is written by James Robinson, penciled by Tony Harris, inker Wayne Van Grawbadger, colorist Gregory Wright, letterer Bill Oakley, editors Chuck Tim and Archie Goodwin. The synopsis for this episode, or this issue, is: out for revenge because of her brother's death, Jack Knight, Missy Mist's murdering rampage continues on. She enlists the help of Dr. Phosphorous, who has recently received new powers from Neron, to take out Jack's father, Ted Knight. Meanwhile, Solomon Grundy and Michael Thomas go missing. So this is all kind of starts at the exact same time where the last issue started, and continues just from Ted's point of view, which is cool. And it keeps doing that throughout this and all the way until we get to Jack's Day, Part 2. Main character, Jack Knight. Supporting characters, Starman Michael Thomas, Ted Knight Starman, Barry O'Dare has a big part in this. The bad guys are Dr. Phosphorous, Miss 2, Nash, Solomon Grundy. He is not a villain! Stop putting him there. Night Observatory was the word I couldn't come up with earlier. I'm a dingbat. This has been reprinted in Starman Night and Day and Starman Omnibus Volume 1 hard and soft cover. So, which I'm reading it in the hardcover, which I just noticed that this version is getting a little beat up. I got a crack where there's some art in an upcoming. Ooh, no, it's an issue I already had. I don't know what I did, but I've damaged my pretty book. So let's get to issue 13, and I'll kind of go through what I think of it. We're getting near the end of this volume too. We'll probably end this volume a little sooner than the Adventure Comics one, but we are getting to the end of the first archive. Very excited. All right, so this one starts in the exact same place where the last one did, in front of City Hall, and it's Ted and Jack having the same conversation, but more geared toward Ted's part of it. And I'm going to read this opening caption because I like it. It's good, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it for each of the part. And this is Ted's Day. It's a good day, at least as it starts. Ted's bones haven't hurt like an old man's bones should hurt in a week. Today he awoke and swore he didn't feel a day over 60. Today his son was freed of blame for the death of a bastard. Although it will soon be warmer, there's still a lingering lick in the air this morn. It's still spring, just his favorite season. When the sun may shine, but at least has the decency to wear a scarf as it does so. And somewhere off, Ted can hear music. Some an awakening to Saturn from the host planets. Indeed, a good day. At 9:59 a.m., when everything seems salt, mellow, and pepper sharp. At least for now it does. Of course you know that by 12 o'clock, it's all going to change. And I just love it. I love it. I love it that we're seeing this in a very Nolan-esque kind of way, or Tarantino way of telling a story, out of in each act starting over and telling it from a different point of view. I want to say I love Tony Harris's art. It's evolving, just getting tighter and more beautiful with each issue. I want to say something that on page 3 is this beautiful thing about murder number 2. Sam Dooney, museum curator, 11:26 a.m. One panel is this beautiful view through the skyline of Opal City, very Art Deco, very sci-fi. It's great. And you see this little shadow of a figure being thrown from a window very high up, and then you see him on the sidewalk with blood, and it's very cool. Then we cut to Michael and Solomon being very introspective, and we see Michael do something under the tree at 11:25 with his powers, which we'll see later. And we cut back to Jack and Ted realizing that Michael and Solomon are going, and we see their search from Ted's point of view as he gets anxious. By almost 5 o'clock, he's anxious, so he goes out and starts driving. And by 9:45, he's at the police station, and he's talking to one of his old buddy, one of the O'Dares, Barry O'Dare. And at that time, Barry's told his brother Mason's been shot. So, Ted excuses him. Ted drives back to his observatory. And he's thinking about being an old man. He is. And it's coming to him. He's thinking as he pulls up to the observatory. All again, Ted sighs, and his eyes begin to water a little bit. All again, the death and the madness. And this girl, they call her the Mist now, how quickly the young replace the old. Well, if they're too busy to find Michael and Grundy until Jack gets back, I suppose it's up to me. Yes, me alone. After all, I'm not an old man. 9:41 p.m. He walks into his house. He finds 5 cigarette butts on the floor. And I don't know why he thinks it's Jack. I don't get it. But you see him turn up, and then you see this burning hand touching the globe and melting it. And there is Dr. Phosphorous in a suit and tie, smoking a cigarette like he's a tough thug from a 30s movie. I freaking love it. Everything's in black and gray tones except for his hands and heads, because they're on fire. And since this is the 40s hero, he's battling in black and white against a Technicolor bad guy. And he leads him on a merry chase through his lab, through the garage, makes him set off the sprinkler and douse him with water, cools him off, I guess. And then Ted ends up in his little museum where I see all these cool different versions of his costume, a big blown up version of Life magazine with the original Leaguers on, the society members on it, a prototype of his helmet, and you've got great things in the background. Carol Lombard's gloves, Gladstone Towers, 1939. Remains of Johnny Pink Eye. Ew. And it's an eyeball. Brass Knuckles, Big Fist, 1948. A dog collar. Blaster invented to defeat Cap Drat in 1945. The Fangs of Dr. Fang. And the glove worn by Mr. Fingers. I love it. It's great. And Jack grabs something from the shelf. It's the light ray. It's a ray gun. It looks like one that I think you carried early on. And he zaps Phosphorous, and then he puts Phosphorous. He pours this chemical, this flame retardant chemical on him. It looks very cool because it's all white and it's pouring down over him. It kind of just... And Ted takes I don't know what it is. It's a cane, someone's cane. Pipe from the Pit Boss, 1951. You can see it. And then it's everything turns back to color when he turns on a light in his office. He walks in, and there's a picture of Marlena Dietrich giving him it's Carol Lombard giving him a big kiss in a photograph. And he's watching the news, and he hears about an explosion at the Chandler building at 9:50. They're talking about the Mist. They've confirmed another murder, Wilson May. and that really upsets Ted. And that says this brings Miss Personal death toll today to 6. On a related note, murders from the Miss Team crime wave escalate with this 52nd Street Charterbanks massacre. Details coming in on that one. And on the streets of Opal City, citizens seem to share the same question. The same question asked again, over and over again. Where is Starman? And Ted goes, indeed, where is Jack? And he's in his office, and it's all 4-color. And it's awesome. I really have dug did that issue. I think it's a great chapter 2. I'm kind of not reading ahead because I'm enjoying it, doing it every 2 weeks. I just think it's amazing. And I hope you're enjoying it. Please reach out and tell me what you think. You can DM me. You can email me at stopletsteamup@gmail.com, or you can get me. I'm on Blue Sky at JSA4E, just like I am on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Mastodon. So reach out and tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. I'm starting to pre-plan ahead. So next week is Adventure Comics, is Invasion number 3, and Starman Volume 1 number 7, and in 2 weeks is All-Star Comics 10 and Starman Volume 2 14. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And there's only one more Prince Gavin, and that will be in episode 29. All right. I posted on Twitter this afternoon that there wouldn't be anything going up this week, but I got out of work on time, so I finished this up, and I'm going to edit it, and it'll go up sometime tonight. Very glad to do it. I needed it. It was good for my mental health. Comic books, great mental health tool. But, folks, as always, be safe, be smart, please be kind to one another, and read some comics.